Hi, it's Trevor. I'm thinking freshly in lots of different places, and this morning I'm in John Wayne Airport and recently had an experience just yesterday flying here, and I'm leaving to fly back home to New York again. And I've discovered that you can find lots of fresh thinking wherever you are, and this experience was quite interesting. I checked in, and one of the advantages of being Executive Platinum, which I've reached this year, is that you can be on the upgrade list for upgrades to first class. So buy an economy ticket and get put on the upgrade list, and it's quite fabulous if it works. American have a really interesting process. You request the upgrade when you're booking the ticket or before you get to the airport, and when you get to the airport you're no longer on the upgrade list. You have to request it again. Now, I asked that, and the two ladies who were there were spending a lot of time discussing this when I asked if I could be put on the upgrade list for the second leg of my flight. And she was stumped. It was the most incredible experience. She was fighting around, and normally it takes them no time at all to do that. So I asked what the problem was, and they said it's the new system. The short is that American Airlines, having purchased US Airways, have stopped using the original Sabre system they were renting or borrowing or using. And they're now using, apparently, what was the old US Airways system. And they're not trained in it. So you would think the first rule of user experience is if you give somebody a new system, you would probably want to move forward. Well, it took them quite a while, probably about 10 minutes, to get me on the upgrade list for one of the legs. Normally that's an instantaneous thing, takes them no time at all. So I was quite enjoying it until she actually said she'd made one mistake, and that was she tried to upgrade me on the first leg and I was already in first class. So that was funny, but ultimately the other lady pulled out a little book, and it was a short book about 3 inches square, and it has a little spiral binder, and they were flipping through it trying to find out all the sequence. And I realized it was full of function keys, and I looked over, and instead of being green on black, it was blue on black. So it was quite the monstrosity of a system, and it truly is. In user experience, you want the users not to have to interpret anything, not to have to do any work, and these ladies were working really hard, and it had reduced their user experience quite dramatically. So I get in this morning to check in to fly away, and I asked the lady if she could put me on the upgrade list, just waiting to see what would happen, and it took her more than 5 minutes. It was quite disastrous, and she said to me, I asked her, are you struggling with the new system? And she said, I used to never have to think, and now I have to think all the time. So a barrier has been placed in front of her for her to have an optimal experience, which means that as a customer service agent, she's not getting an optimal experience or giving one. So we had a bit of a chuckle about that, and then she said to me, I can't put you on there. Apparently every time I get you and select you and go, it's some Jerry Perry who's getting your upgrade. So just a moment, and she said, I'm going into the old system. So she went to the old system. She did it all in literally milliseconds, and she came back and she said, you're on the list. I was very pleased about that, for travel purposes, of course. And I said, so how long is the old system going to be running in parallel? And she said, it was supposed to be gone months ago, and we've got at least 3 more weeks. So just an example of obviously poor implementation of a system. And the rumor is, from just talking to these ladies behind the counter, and they were all lovely ladies, they said that apparently they had to save money because the old one cost them a lot more. So in business, in an effort to save money, we reduced the user experience dramatically, making for an awful customer service experience for their customers. These are just the things that we do in IT every single day. And obviously the business made decisions here, IT's been making decisions here, but it's horrible. And out in the real world, programmers should get. They should come out here, they should be at the end point of their application use, they should see what's really going on. And instead of traditionally talking about the users like they're a bunch of morons and they didn't understand, know that they don't quite learn the same way as you do. They don't have the experience that you do in developing the system. And second of all, you are not a graphic designer in any way. You're not a user experience designer, and user interfaces are not your forte. Check this out. Go out to those places. It's really a fascinating experience, and I can tell you, as a traveler, this has really made the experience worse for a traveler. So I encourage you all, apply some fresh thinking to your applications.